Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to this Motion.io live stream. Hope hope everybody out there is having a great day so far. I see we have a couple of people filling in. Great to have you with us. And yeah, really excited to be hosting this live stream. Last month, because of Christmas, we ended up skipping this. So we're great to be back. Have a lot of exciting new updates to share. And I'll give folks just a couple of minutes here to file in. As you have comments, as you have questions about the content that I'll cover today, please feel free to write them into the chat on whatever platform you are joining us on. I'm going to write a message here right now. Hopefully you all can see this, and please respond. Yeah, let us know what you have questions about, what you want to know as we go through our most recent product update. And then I'm also, while we wait for folks to file in here, going to get us going on Instagram as well. Instagram's a little bit different in my software that I use for streaming. Just requires an additional step to launch there. So I'm just going to do that here really quick. But yeah, in the meantime, I would love to know, where's everybody joining us from? Where are you tuning in from in the world? Very excited to have you all with us wherever you are. I myself, I'm here in Denver, Colorado. Motion.io is really based in the sort of Colorado Front Range. And actually, we just moved into a new office this week, which was really exciting for us. And that's about, I'm at home today, but that office is just, 20, 30 minutes right down the road from me. So wonderful stuff here. I'll get us going on Instagram. And let's go ahead and kick off this live stream. All right. So first things first, I want to go ahead and jump into our Motion.io release notes here and just kind of walk you through the basics of what I'll be talking about here today on this live stream. So in January, this was a really exciting release for us. The things in this latest release here are things we actually started working on before, even before the new year began. And there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. So to kind of kick it off here, one of the biggest things we've added is our company directory. In a previous update, we introduced Motion.io's CRM, which really serves as your central hub for managing your clients in Motion.io, seeing the clients you've added, seeing what projects you're on. And in your Motion.io CRM, you're able to view things like recent emails that customers have opened, recent activities that they've completed in their portals. And now we've expanded the CRM to include companies. So we'll talk about that. Next up is our require team review task option. This is something that had been long requested by our various users and customers at Motion.io. And it basically gives you the ability to add a review step to your client tasks. So we'll talk about that. Next, we'll go into internal tasks and the ability to hide them totally from clients to portals. We'll talk about our recent improvements to Motion.io's Message Center, which is a central hub for streamlining communication in Motion.io about task comments, chat messages, all of that good stuff. And then finally, we'll talk about some improvements we've made to email notifications to Motion.io, which you can see here, before going in to talk about various improvements and quality of life updates. So I wanted to ask first, maybe just to kick things off here, as anyone who is tuning in right now, have you used this, any of the features in this recent release? Are there things that you want to know about right off the bat? If so, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get into it here by talking about the company directory in Motion.io. So let me head over to my Motion.io account where I've set this up to kind of walk you through everything that you'll need to know. I like to build out an account before every one of these live streams to have it reflect what a real project, a real account that you are using actively with clients in Motion.io can look like. So to access the company directory, and let me just make sure that my screen is actually sharing here. To access the company directory, where you will go is you'll just click clients over here. And the first page that you're brought to is the people tab, which is where you can manage the various people in your Motion.io account. And then right to the right of that, the companies tab is where you'll now see information about your various companies in Motion.io. So with this update, what you will see initially, if you are someone who's been using Motion.io for a length of time already, this tab that you see here, the companies tab, it's going to be blank initially. But adding a new company is as easy as going and clicking the button here in the upper right-hand corner and saying, I'll just call this my test company. And below, you're able to add primary contact information for the company. So if they have an email address, a phone number, a website that you're going to want to reference in the future, you can go ahead and do that there. After adding a company to the directory, what you'll see here is there isn't going to be any clients associated with it right off the bat. And you can see that here in the my test company that I just created. So to add clients to this company, all we have to do is click into it and then click edit. And we'll go back here to the people tab, and I'm going to add a new example person. I'm just going to call this example person, put in just a fake test email for them. And then I can go down here to the company tab, and I'm going to select that my test company option, and I will go ahead and add this person. And you'll see, great, they're now associated with my test company. And as well, if I look at this, you'll see that it's also added a primary contact to the company, which is that example person that I just went ahead and added. One note here about the primary contact person is this is something that you can change after the fact. By default, the first person is going to be added as the primary contact at that company, but you can change this at any point in the future. So for example, let's just add another one of my clients to a second company. So I'll add Sunny Baker here to that test company. Click in, and then I can just switch whoever the primary contact is after I've added, more than one person to that test company. So this is a really useful feature in Motion.io, but I did want to kind of just mention very briefly that with this version of the company directory, it is really sort of the first iteration. There's going to be a lot more that you're going to be able to do with this down the road. Some of the things that we have in mind for this is it's going to be really important when we launch our direct CRM integrations, which is something we have coming in just a couple of months. So, for example, if you have a lot of contact and people records in a CRM like HubSpot, what you could do is you could import all of that data here with a one-step integration. That's not a part of Motion.io just yet, but it is coming in just a couple of short months. We had a question from the audience from Ami Creatives. Hi, I had a question about if a mobile app is coming this year. So right now, a mobile app is on our roadmap. It's not something that we have planned for this year, although that can change if we get a lot of requests for a mobile app. We're certainly open to launching that. But with that, we do, with every single release we publish, we make sure that mobile the mobile responsive versions of Motion.io are working effectively across all of your various platforms and mobile devices you might be using. So right now, unfortunately, we are kind of not planning to do a mobile app this year. But definitely, if you write us into hello@motion.io, I'll make sure to log that as a feature request for our team. Thanks for the question, though. And as a reminder, if anybody else has questions, please let me know as we go through this. So that kind of does it for the bulk of the company directory. We've really tried to make this easy, intuitive to use. And as I mentioned, there's going to be a lot more functionality coming to the company and client directory here within the next few months. With that, that brings us to the next item that I want to talk through of our most recent release, and that is the ability to require team review on tasks, and specifically client tasks. So this is a brand new task option in Motion.io. And if you're not familiar with what task options in Motion.io are, I'll just show you here really quickly. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go into a project that hasn't been kicked off here in my account. And you'll see this Larry's Laundry project. It's built out, it's ready to go, but I haven't actually launched any of these tasks yet. When you are creating a task in Motion.io, the different task options at the bottom of our composer here allow you to attach anything you need clients to sign, submit, do, or approve to a task. And toggling on these different options or any combination of these different options, you're able to ask and request clients for things. One of the newest additions to this task option, which we're talking about here today, is this require team review option. And you can see here, and there's a quick explainer if you're in your account and just want to know, hey, what do I use this for? Basically, though, when your client completes a task that you've toggled on require team review for, it's going to get marked as in review for the team member you select to approve prior to the task actually being marked as complete. So I think for this require team review option, really helpful to show like what this actually looks like and how it works. So what I'm going to do is, let's say for this onboarding form, this is a form, let's say with my clients that, sometimes they just don't do all of the steps. I'm kind of used to them maybe misentering information, and I want to make sure that this looks good to go before it's officially marked as complete in Motion.io. So what I can do is I'll go ahead and edit this task. And what you'll see is I've already toggled this on, but just for the sake of example, I'm going to toggle this off. When I toggle on require team review, this modal will open where I can select the team member that I want to review the task. And then after the client goes ahead and completes this in their portal, which I'll just do here very quickly for you all so you can see a real life example of what this looks like. And I'm just going to submit this form here off camera quick. One moment, if you just hang with me. Now I'll go ahead and refresh here. You'll see that now that I've submitted this form as the client, the status of this has changed to in review. And what I can do as one of the admins as the project is I'll go ahead and click into this and I'll say, hey, either this looks great or if it needs review or if it needs a change. What I typically recommend doing, like let's say I needed the client to include some additional information in this form and it wasn't submitted the first time, is I typically recommend just tagging them in a comment, which will send them an immediate notification. as well as just write what you need. And in this case, I'll say, hey, Larry, looks like you didn't attach a logo file. Could you please update this to provide one? And great. So I'll send that comment to Larry. He'll get notified. He can go back in and update this task. And then once I review it again, I can go ahead, just open the task, see that Larry has uploaded a logo file, and then mark this as completed. So what this does in essence is it adds another layer of verification to tasks that clients need to complete. So you're not having to constantly send things back and forth. And this is especially useful. And really the reason why we added this functionality and this task option to motion.io is we had a lot of people who were creating separate internal tasks to review things. For example, a client is uploading, driver's license, and they upload just the front. Previously, we would have many of our users adding an additional internal task to say, hey, review the task where we asked the client to provide their driver's license photos. Now, you don't have to do that in a separate task, and you can do it simply but just by toggling this require team review option, which will send and a notification and let your team members know that they need to go in and review that task. So I know we've had a couple of additional questions come in since I was going over our new require team review question. So I just want to go ahead and talk about these quick. From Tim, we have a question. So we have people booking through our website, and they sometimes are repeat customers, and we will automate a new project when they book, but they probably use the same email address. So, Tim, if you add multiple people, and I believe that this is a question in reference to the client directory, if you add someone with this, if you're adding someone with the same email, they are not going to be duplicated in the system. They will just be associated with the existing person. And that's because when a customer, or when you create a customer in your motion.io account, they can only be created once. You're not going to be able to create them like multiple times. So it's totally fine if you are automating that process. It will just associate any tasks that you're updating, any projects that you are creating with their existing profile, basically, in your account. And I hope that answers the question. If you have additional things or additional follow-up, please let me know. From Amy Creatives, we have another question. Is there a way to get notified every time someone completes a task or uploads a file? That is a phenomenal question, and I'm going to answer that in just a moment because it actually covers another feature that we included in our most recent update. But before I do, just wanted to address Andrea's question. Is your app good for SaaS companies that onboard merchants on e-commerce? Andrea, great question. Motion.io can work amazing for SaaS onboarding, whether it's vendors, whether it's customers. Something interesting to point out is that back earlier in 2024, we were, ironically enough, using email to onboard our clients and weren't using motion.io. The second that we switched all of our internal processes for onboarding our own clients to motion.io, the second that we moved that over to motion.io, it cut the time it took to onboard someone, and basically the time from that they signed up for an account to get them launching motion.io with their first customers. It cut that time by 50%. So totally in half. Motion.io can work really, really well for onboarding SaaS clients. As you can see here, we're using it every day to onboard motion.io users. And then in addition, we have a lot of other SaaS companies using us for that same purpose. So I would say absolutely yes, motion.io is a great fit for SaaS companies who are onboarding merchants or vendors or even their own users. And we do offer a free trial for you to check us out. If you haven't signed up for a free trial yet and you're tuning into this, I'll put the link here in our chat, but it's just app.motion.io/register. We do not require a free trial or a credit card for our free trial. So you are able to just sign up, just an email address, a couple other pieces of information, and you can get access to motion.io for 14 days for free. So back to Amy Creative's question about the ability to get notified every time someone completes a task or uploads a file. That actually brings us to the next thing that I was going to talk about here today, which are our improvements to email notifications in motion.io. So hopping back in here to my motion.io account, the way that you can access your email notification preferences is by going to this drop down here. So click your name and then click notifications. In the notifications preference screen of motion.io, what you're able to do is set how frequently you want to get notified for both active projects as well as project templates. Previously in motion.io, there was just one category of notifications you could set where basically it applied the settings here, none immediately daily. It applied that to everything that might happen in the project. Since hearing from our users and them telling us, hey, it would be really nice if we had some more granular control, like on a per project basis of the things that I get notified about, what we've done is we've broken out notifications into two separate types of notifications. So there's client messages, which are notifications for task comments, help desk tickets, and new chat messages. And then there's other activities. And other activities includes things like task status changes, form submissions, and other project-related activities like new files and things like that. So in your case, and to answer your question directly, if you wanted to get notified every time a client completes a task or uploads a file, what you would do is in your projects, you would set this other activities to immediately. And what this will do is that every time there is a task status that changes, file uploaded, that kind of thing, form submitted, you'll receive an immediate email notification. For client messages then, because you can now configure these two columns independently of one another, you are able to do, to leave this off and just, rely on your message center for this, or, you could set this to immediately as well. One thing to note about when you are setting email notification preferences is that they apply just to you. So these don't affect anything else or any other team members that you have on your account in the project. They'll be able to toggle this independently. As well, when you set email notifications for a preference, so let's say for my digital marketing template, I wanted to be notified immediately about everything happening in that. If I set that to immediately in both columns, any projects that I create from this digital marketing template will automatically inherit this immediately settings. These settings that I've configured to have notifications sent to me immediately. So hopefully that is a good option for you and, allows you to do what you are looking to do in terms of notifications. With that, time to talk about, and please let me know if there's any follow-up questions on how email notifications work. But next, I wanted to talk about the improvements we've made to motion.io's message center. And this kind of goes hand in hand with those email notification improvements. As I had mentioned, there is that setting that I showcased a little bit earlier of the ability to have email notifications for client messages. But in the event that you, let's say, wanted to turn email notifications or client message notifications entirely off and set this to none, the message center will allow you to get notified of new activity, new comments, new new chat messages across all of your Motion.io projects. So it's not even necessary, depending on how you structure your workflow, the way you like to get notified, to have separate email notifications sent to you, although it certainly is an option, because the message center is a great place for viewing that information. Whenever you have a new chat message or task comment sent by a client in your Motion.io account, you'll have a little red notification badge here informing you of the new message activity. And then from the message center, you can click into these messages directly to be able to respond. And you'll see here that I have a message from this Moxie Beverages project where they asked, hey, we have a new director who's taking over our performance marketing. Can we set up a call? And you'll see that I replied with my calendar, and it actually even populated right in the window for them. One of the new additions that we've made to the message center is that when you or a team member replies, you'll see this notification informing you of that, where this green arrow indicates that your team has already replied to this message. And then in the event that, let's say, Mariah from Moxie Beverages scheduled a call already, what I can do to move this message out of the way is I can go ahead and click Archived. And then it will show up in the Archive tab here. If you've been using Motion.io for a little while, one thing you'll notice is that these tabs within the message center have changed. We've updated the tabs based on things that we've learned from users and how they were using the project. So the tabs that you'll see across the top now are Inbox, and the Inbox tab is going to contain all message center notifications. So this is going to include task comments, but it's also going to include chat messages sent through Motion.io projects. And you can see here, this is an example of a task comment. We clearly delineate the two in the Inbox tab because it says task, review and approve campaign creative. And then one thing to note about viewing task comments is that you can click this toggle here and this little plus sign in the upper right-hand corner of the message. And that will actually allow you to view the information that you've attached to the task. So you can see this was a file review, feedback, and approval task. And I can toggle between these images, look at the comments, and then respond in that message. The Archive tab, which I showed you just a little bit ago, this is going to contain any messages that you set to archived. I generally encourage anything that you have responded to already, and it doesn't really need any more follow-up. Just go ahead and you can click the Archive option at the top, which will move it to the Archive tab. If for some reason you archive a chat or a task comment and want to move it back to the inbox, doing so is as easy as clicking unarchived, moving it back over. So while the inbox tab is going to contain both comments and chat, the comments tab will only include task comments, as you can see here with this comment related to a onboarding form this client submitted. And then the chat page is only going to include messages sent through the chat tab of a client portal. One of the questions I see we just got in from the chat is if you are able to start new chats and initiate or revisit new chats from the message center. This is a really good question because it's something that we actually just added with this most recent update. So previously in the message center, you could only respond to things that were, incoming, basically new comments and new chat messages sent across your Motion.io projects. With this latest update, we've borrowed a little bit of, that kind of idea of a message center like Teams or like Slack, where you can also start new chats directly from the chat tab now. And the way that you do that is you click this drop down here, select your project, and then you can write in a new chat message. I'll tag the person. I'll say, hey, this is a new chat. And I can just put that chat right in here and initiate a chat that way. So while you can use this to initiate new chats, you can also use it to revisit chats in any of your projects, which you can see here. This Moxie Beverages project, I have a couple of things in here from them already, but I just wanted to like reference back this. I could select it as well from that drop down. A final note and a final thing I wanted to cover about the message center is this isn't a new feature necessarily, but just wanted to point out that you also have the ability to delete things from the message center. One note about deleting things from the message center is that if you delete it, it's only going to delete the notification. It's not going to delete that actual message you sent. You can still always go back to the project and view that information by going to their chat page or by going to the task comment, the task where that comment was left initially. And I can see that here, if I can just remember which onboarding form. I can't find it. That's okay, though. But yeah, if you want to back reference a task comment that you've since deleted from the message center, basically just got to go back into the project, select that task, and you'll be able to see that information there. We have a comment from Amy Creatives. This is perfect. Will clients also have immediate notifications for messages and other activities? So yes, clients in Motion.io get notified immediately about a variety of new activities. At the moment, we don't have a way of configuring the client message notifications like you can through the notifications for your own account. But in the chat here, I'm going to link a help desk article that I have put together that will explain exactly the types of notifications and when Motion.io sends them. But the long story short is that yes, when something happens in Motion.io, most of the time clients are receiving immediate notifications about those things. The types of activities we send immediate notifications for are project invites, newly assigned and sent tasks, as well as tagged comments. So if there's anything that you want to send a client an immediate notification about that isn't included in that list, a really easy way is to just go into a task and tag them in a comment, which will always send an immediate notification. And I'm just going to type this message to this client, this fake client I have in my account, and just enter, this will send an immediate notification. And great, there we go. But great to hear that you're loving that functionality that we've added. This is something that people had requested and we decided to build. So it really shows you the power of, not only how quick we're able to move at Motion.io, but that your feedback, your requests make a direct impact to the platform. People and our users asked for more granular control over notifications that they received, and we added it. And we'll probably be expanding this over time as well. But this version we thought was the best place to start because it had the most requests basically across the different clients we heard from. So as I'd mentioned earlier in the video, if you ever have a feature that you want to request, something that you think could improve Motion.io, you can always email us directly at hello@motion.io, and we'll make sure to log that and prioritize it effectively in one of our future Motion.io updates. So that does it for message center notifications. And I just wanted to pause there to see if anybody else had questions in the audience. There's a couple more things that I'll be talking about here within Motion.io, but just wanted to pause quickly and see any questions about the features I covered, any questions about Motion.io in general, I can answer for you. As a reminder, I do these live streams for you, our customers, our trial users, people who are exploring Motion.io and considering it. So let me know in the chat if you do have questions you'd like me to answer. In the meantime, I want to talk about another task option that we have added, and this one is specific to internal tasks in Motion.io. But first, we do have a question from Michael that I will address. Michael's asking, how secure is your platform? I don't see much on your website, or am I missing it? Michael, because there are so many different security parameters and restrictions that people have for their businesses, it would probably be most helpful for you to set up a call with our team to discuss, your specific needs and what you would need security wise. In the chat here, I'm going to go ahead and link our request the demo form where you can request the time to speak with our team. But you can also just write in to that hello@motion.io address that I shared. Either way, we'll connect with you. We'll ask what your security requirements are, and a member of our team will be able to describe in detail what we have in the platform security-wise and whether that aligns with your needs or not. Another question from YouTube, somebody watching over there. Any chance that you will be adding inline tagging for documents that need signed rather than placing fields on a page? So I'm not 100% sure what the inline tagging would be. I just don't know enough about like what that would look like or what you're doing with that. My best guess, and something that might be helpful for you, is that instead of adding fields in Motion.io, you do have the option to populate documents with custom fields. And maybe this is exactly what you're asking for. Definitely let me know. Feel free to clarify in the chat here. But what you can do, and what you'll notice here, is that within Motion.io, you have the ability to set up custom fields. And I'm going to quickly share a different tab of my screen and show you these. So in Motion.io, custom fields allow you to dynamically update values across tasks, portal pages, welcome emails, as well as documents. So let's say for this document that I have, I want for every individual client, I want the client's business name, which I have a custom field for, to populate so they don't have to fill that in manually. What I could do is I can go here into my contract or into my document, and this is a web design services document. And if I go here to advanced fields, I can paste in the slug for my custom field. So when I send this document to the client, it would automatically populate with their business name and they wouldn't have to fill in that information manually. So if I sent this to Courtney's Cupcakes, what you would see, and I think I have a good example of this here, actually. Oh, it's not included in that one. But basically what would happen is that when I would send this document to the client, this would populate with their business name and they wouldn't have to fill that information in manually. So hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, please let me know. But I believe that this is what you are referencing, where if I go here to client business name, and sorry, I realized I wasn't sharing the appropriate tab there. This would then go ahead, because I've pasted their custom field value into what is referred to as the API ID in our document editor. This is going to populate every time with the client's unique business name. So with that, I'm going to head back, and I also want to talk about something that has been in Motion.io for a little while, but it's incredibly useful, and I thought would be helpful to talk about for anybody who is brand new to Motion.io, maybe didn't receive like our last product update or attended one of these product update live streams previously. And that is the ability to hide internal tasks in Motion.io. So in your Motion.io projects, we give you the ability to create both client tasks, which we looked at a little bit earlier, as well as internal tasks. And that's what you can see here. So in this case, after the client completes all of the steps in the onboarding stage, I have an internal task, which I've assigned to myself, to design their initial ad creative concepts for them. Previously in Motion.io, the title of a task and the description of a task would display to clients in their portal. However, with this recent update we've done, you can now hide internal tasks entirely from clients. And this will be indicated to you when you see a little eye icon with with it crossed out and it says hidden from client portal. The reason why this functionality can be so helpful for your projects is the ability to manage your projects in one place. In Motion.io, some of our customers previously were using Motion.io for their onboarding, their client engagement, their collection of client information, and they'd use a separate platform, something like an Asana, a Monday, a Trello, to manage their internal work. Since we've released this ability to hide internal tasks from clients in their portals, you're now able to consolidate your project management tool and your client engagement and document collection inside one platform, which is really powerful because instead of having to, toggle back and forth all day, you can do the things that you need to do for clients that are just, internal only tasks, as well as send clients to tasks to complete and manage those tasks in the same location. And I also see that we have a clarification from Paid from YouTube. I believe that's the name of the channel. And the comment is, so inline is where it is typed as a part of the document, looks professionally prepared. In that example, the company name might not fit in that space, causing it to cut off. Oh, and I see what you're saying right now. So with the way that our fields work in Motion.io, I believe that's already like a part that is built in where it would just bump down to basically the second line of the document if it had extended basically past that space. To just quickly reference what I'm talking about here. So for example, if the client business name was longer than this field, it would just go ahead and bump down to the next line. So I believe that is what you're asking about. Might not. This is probably something that's best discussed with our team. If you want to send us a email at hello@motion.io, we'd be happy to go over that with you. But I do appreciate the question. Thank you so much. So circling back to talking about internal tasks, it's really as simple when you are creating a task. Let's say you want to create a new task that's totally hidden from clients in their portals. All you have to do is click Add Task, toggle the internal option here in the upper right-hand corner of Motion.io's Task Composer, and then just click Hide Task from Client Portal. One of the things I wanted to call out about internal tasks is that these options here that you'll see, they look a little bit similar to the task options you have available for client tasks, but they're also a little bit different. One of the things that you can do with an internal task is you can even add subtasks associated with an internal task for that you can assign to team members to complete. So let's say I had a launch website task. I could add individual subtasks underneath that for create email addresses, and then I can assign that, set a due date for that. I could have another subtask that was something like migrate website to live domain. Great. Add a task here. And then I can even attach a form to an internal task. And this form is only going to be visible to team members. So as a part of this, I can add these various things to the internal task, hide this from the client portal, and make it easy for my team to manage and track the work that we are doing all in one place. We have a question from Tim in the chat. Thanks for writing in again. Could the hide task functionality be used for somebody to pay once the service has been paid for? So the task becomes visible after we have delivered our service to the client. So, Tim, what you are asking about is totally possible in Motion.io, but it's not something that you would have to actually use the internal task functionality for. What I would recommend instead to set up a payment task for your client, let me go ahead and I'm just going to create quickly a new template for us, just so I can quickly create this and show you what the workflow, what the ideal workflow would look like. So I'll quickly create a stage called onboarding. And what I'm going to do is I'll have a task called onboarding form. This is a client task. And I'll attach that form to the task using our attach form option. Let me just look for my onboarding form here quick. Sweet, there it is. And then I'll have a task called payment form. And let's just say for this example, I wanted to embed a payment form from, another service that I'm using. And I actually think I have one here that I can add in quickly. So I'll go ahead and add my payment form. This is a form that I've created in Fillout. So one thing to note, Tim, about tasks in Motion.io is that clients can only see them once they are set to active, and clients won't see draft tasks when they are, even after you've invited them to a project. So in your case, where you want to activate this payment form task here after the onboarding form is completed, what I would recommend you do instead is set up an automation to handle this for you. So with this automation, what you could say is if task onboarding form is completed, and then activate task payment form, and let's just say due in 7 days, a week. So what this will do is when I create a new project from this template, and let me just do that here quickly to show you. What will happen is that when the client completes this initial task to, submit the onboarding form, this task, the payment form, will be activated automatically for them to complete. So even after I send this and it's available to the client in their portal, they won't see this. And let me just add a client here quickly. Call this test client. All I would have to do is I send this task to them to complete. Payment form wouldn't be visible to them. And then when this task is completed, and we'll just update this very quickly. Great. This onboarding form has been completed. And now this task, the payment form, is going to be visible to the client in their portal, but only after it's set to active, not when it's in draft. So I believe that should be like a very good sort of straightforward solution for you there, Tim. And let me know if you have any follow-up questions about that. In addition to some of these other new features that I've talked about, one of the things we do with every Motion.io release is improve existing areas of our project. And these, are typically grouped into, what you'll see in our release notes as additional improvements and quality of life updates. One of the quality of life updates we did with this release is a few different updates to Zapier that allow you to do a couple of different things. With Zapier, it's an incredibly powerful tool and something that we see so many of our customers are using. One of the things that we had requests for is the ability to pull custom field tags to pull project tags from Zapier. So I'm going to hop into my Zapier account and show you how this is now possible within Motion.io. And I have a good example here set up. I just need to pull it up here. So back in my Zapier account, let's say that I wanted to send information about tags to another tool. Like let's say I was using Monday.com as my project management platform, and I was relying on Motion.io's tags to find the correct project in Monday. What I could do is set up a very quick workflow here. And I'll do this. What I can do is I'll trigger this when a task status is changed in Motion.io. Just connect my account here really quickly. And I can now use Motion.io's find project action to find the tags within my specific project. So I'll go ahead and just submit a test submission here. Great. Continue with selected record. Cool. And then what I'm going to do is I will use the task status information from the initial trigger to find the corresponding project in Motion.io. And what you'll see is that when I do this, it's going to pull in information about the project tags as well as the project fields. So this find project action in Motion.io gives you a really great and streamlined way to send that data that you've customized in your Motion.io projects elsewhere. This one's kind of a more advanced feature, I will say, but it's incredibly useful if you are using Zapier. And if you are, you probably know what I'm talking about, because this can be then used if I want to do something like, we'll do an integration with ClickUp here. Is I could find a task basically by a custom field in Motion.io. So for the task ID, I could go ahead and map this to either the tags or the custom fields that Zapier was able to find in Motion.io. So this is a cool new feature. It adds a lot of possibilities to Zapier, specifically when it comes down to finding a record elsewhere using this tool. Like I said, a little bit more of an advanced feature, but can be very, very useful for you in terms of getting Zaps that function and do everything that you need. So I know we just have a couple minutes left here. And to answer your question, Burke, advertising, yes, there will be a link available to rewatch this session immediately after it's done. Typically within 3 minutes of a live stream being over, you'll be able to access a recording of this on YouTube, as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. So definitely check us out over there. A final thing that I want to mention here within Motion.io as far as improvements that are included in our latest update is the ability to download client-approved files. So previously in Motion.io, when clients would approve files in a project, there was no way to have the files that clients approved basically grouped together to be able to bulk download them. What we have done with this recent update is that when clients approve files, you'll now see them in the file approvals folder. And we also clearly delineate what file they approved and what files they have not approved. So when you use the task option, and I have my example task here that I'll show you. So I sent this review and approve campaign creative to the client. they approved this file. They didn't approve this one yet. But when I send these files off to them, you'll then see them grouped in the approvals folder, which you can access from the files tab of your account. And this is great because you're able to just quickly click in. Great. And I can go ahead and download those. And to show you quickly again, basically, if in a project where I have some tasks that I've sent files off for approval, great, I see those there. Go into files, go into the approvals tab, and then just click download, and I can easily download those files to see. So with that, that really wraps up our latest round of improvements and new functionality to Motion.io. If there's anybody who has questions in the audience, definitely happy to stick around here for our final couple of minutes. As I mentioned, there will be a recording available of this live stream. We do these things every month, so definitely look out for the next one. We email everybody about it a couple days before, as well as a reminder the day of about our live streams. So definitely love hearing from you all, having you all tune in. But yeah, if there's no other questions for today, I'm going to call it quits. I got to get back to work, have some more things to wrap up, as I'm sure all of you do. But I do so appreciate your time here today and joining us for our monthly product update live stream. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.